we've got 3 people here tonight because Lone's got a headache, and I was going to ask Brandon to come back because he's so good at the fact-finding, but unfortunately, Brandon had something come up. He couldn't tell me what, just things. I'll be back. That's cool. Stuff happens. But you at least got us 3 here, and we're fucking awesome, so... Also, fucking constantly camera freezing now. That's just the greatest way to start.
Awesome.
I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know. Anyway, guys, we're going to run a new format with this, so we're going to cut the podcast down to fucking shit, computer. I'll punch you in the face hole. Technical difficulties, deal with it, I guess. Fuck it. There's nothing I can do right now. So we're going to run it an hour instead of 2 hours. That's going to be a new format, at least for now, because I feel that we're just devolving into a massive clusterfuck at 2 hours. Fuck you, camera. It's too goddamn much for us. We don't have the attention span of 2 hours, so I'm going to try an hour.
Well, we do, we just don't have the content. It's a little bit of a...
Dude, I don't know, man. We've been eating food and fucking throwing shit and screaming at children.
What?
What? Get the fuck off my lawn! Okay, so...
I'm older than you, bitch!
Get off my lawn, tiny man!
That's...
Speaking of racism and bigotry... segue!
Racist.
So the first thing I actually want to talk about has nothing to do with fucking gaming. It's just something that kind of pissed me the fuck off when I read it today. I follow fucking George Takei on Twitter because the man is funny, and he's talking about a bill that's fucking getting passed in Arizona right now that will allow people to refuse service to the homosexual community, whether you're a private company or public. They can ban you from their fucking taxis, hotels, restaurants for religious beliefs.
That's good job, U.S. Good job.
Like, that is the biggest crock of shit I have seen come out of any country. And I'm talking Russia included. Those guys are fucked up. Look what they're already trying to do.
Yeah. Well, it's really fucked up. I mean, I didn't know about this until you texted me this morning, so...
To be honest with you, Russia and this are kind of on the same medium. I mean, they're not beating people in the streets like Russia is yet. But
well, yeah, but Russia is... I mean, they've had a lot of fucking problems in the past. I mean, look at communism and all that fucked up shit. Like, okay, so maybe as a country they'll eventually grow and we'll get different leadership in there and, we'll fix that shit. But... fucking, are you kidding me? The U.S.? Okay, you got the fucking Baptist church and you do some really dumb shit with religion, but what?
This is what happens when you give religion a voice in politics. It's mind-blowing.
The problem is the church does have a lot of control over how the U.S. and Canada both operate. There's still a huge voice. Well, but the problem is a lot of people follow the church, so... It's not really the voice of the church, it's the voice of the church through the people. So it's kind of hard to...
We've talked about this shit before. Like, we talk to John all the damn time, and there are people that are religious, that believe in God, that will help people out, that aren't bigoted assholes.
Well, let's think of it like this. Do they truly believe in what they're spewing, or are they using that as a medium as a front, kind of like a mask, to kind of perpetuate kind of what they want, personally. Like, it's all based in self-interest. It will have nothing to do with religion in itself.
It's fucking ridiculous is what it is. It's true though. They've done it before. I mean, the same article by fucking Takaya talks about how they used to use religious beliefs to keep races separate.
Yep.
And that's been in history for fucking years and years and years. And what the fuck? And we got past that. It took fucking way too long. But now, why the fuck are we degrading ourselves back again to go into this weird-ass shit? What the fuck?
Because of the Republicans, yay. Fucking retards.
See, but, okay, in reference to the Russian thing, I understand why Russia does it, because they honestly believe that it's related to pedophilia. So I can understand that if you're wanting to stop pedophilia, you block that. Sure. Now that's probably not the case.
But that kind of propaganda was from the 50s in the U.S.
But they still believe that. That's not a cover. That's actually what they believe. Whereas the U.S. doesn't believe that at all.
Yeah.
Now some people are trying to say that just because that's what Russia's done to pass this, but that's not at all the case.
No, it's not.
No, it's some pretty crazy shit though. It's pretty backwards crazy shit.
Yeah.
I'm pretty ashamed for that. That's, as a conservative, I don't consider myself a Republican. Most conservatives fucking hate the Republican Party, but I'm really ashamed as a conservative. It's terrible because I can't even express my thoughts on it. It's just terrible.
Well, I mean, as the American at the table, you guys are supposed to be like the forefront of fucking humanity. You're one of like the biggest fucking dogs in the pit, and you see this shit. What the fuck?
Makes me want to beat the shit out of him.
Well, it doesn't go to vote until Thursday, right? Or was this Thursday? No, it doesn't go to vote till Thursday, so hopefully it doesn't go through, but it's ridiculous that this is even on the table.
Well, I mean, fucking, I like Takai's fucking look at this, though. He's like, if your goddamn governor signs this thing, then we're just gonna boycott the shit out of your whole state. Fuck you. And it's not like when he calls for a boycott, it's not like it's gonna be, oh, just the homosexual community is gonna boycott it. Fucking everybody in the left wing is gonna flip their shit.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I mean, Jared, you and I discussed this earlier today. Ultimately, what's going to happen if it passes? It's probably going to get repealed to the Supreme Court, and then they're going to say they're going to rule it as unconstitutional, and then that's going to be thrown out the window, and then basically the state governor is going to basically put a bad mark. It's going to put a black mark on his name. So. Yeah,
but I mean, that's what he was saying too. Is that everybody knows that this will get thrown out in court. It's just a matter of doing it to gain more fucking votes with the right wing. But it's specifically he's saying if the governor fucking signs this, because they're gonna try and push it through. If he himself signs it, you're fucked. I don't care what happens with it.
Yeah. As long as we don't see lobbyists trying to push this for it to go through, that's the only...
One way or another, it will get blocked, but yeah, the fact that it's on the table is just stupid.
Yeah.
It's fucking ridiculous. But, I mean, that's my fucking 8 minutes apiece about how fucking dumb that is. I know it doesn't have anything to do with our normal...
Gay Arizona? Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't have to do with our normal fucking standpoint on gaming, but I needed to fucking bring that up because that is fucking ridiculous.
Oh, my.
As for our...
Say once.
As for our first actual fucking gaming news, we've got some really fucking interesting shit going on this week. Oculus fucking Rift, like the company behind it, has trademarked Riftcon as a convention aiming to encourage development of virtual reality games. So the guys at fucking Oculus think that VR is now big enough and there's going to be enough interest, enough companies, enough everything that they can throw out an actual fucking convention about this shit.
Well, now that the technology behind it's actually kind of matured enough for it to gain the right kind of attention, I can see this happening and actually succeeding, you know?
Well, as a consumer and a developer, I will probably attend one of these if it happens.
I would love to attend one of these.
If I could get there, I gladly would. Like, this sounds great. I mean, anyone who's fucking played video games has been dreaming about VR shit since they were fucking children.
But, yeah, I really would like to see where this goes. Did they announce if there's any sort of convention that may or may not happen within the following year?
Nothing. They just trademarked the name and talked about the potential.
It was trademarked on February 14th. They're talking about organizing exhibitions for cultural, educational, entertainment purposes, organizing exhibitions in the fields of interactive entertainment, virtual reality, consumer electronics, and video game entertainment industries for cultural or education purposes, entertainment services, namely arranging and conducting of competitions to encourage use and development of interactive entertainment, virtual reality, consumer electronics, and video games and hardware. That was their official, not so laid-back filing that they put through. But basically, they're saying they want to start up another gaming con that focuses mostly on VR. And that sounds fucking awesome. They've also included a lot of words like, we're going to put in an exhibition and entertainment, meaning that we're going to start attracting those other VR candidacies I was talking about. Like, they want to put people on the fucking space stations. They're talking about mechanics, all that kind of stuff going through. And that is fucking amazing that there's going to be a convention centralized for that, which means people are going to be pushing and building up these editions and getting them ready for them. So it could be, hey, this is the date of the convention, here's all this fucking killer news. Like when you watch CES and you see about all the new tech, it's going to be that for VR, and that's fucking awesome.
You know what scares me? There's actually a market for VR porn.
Yeah, from the very get-go, this has existed
since. This has existed.
Yeah.
God, I can't talk. This has existed since the Kinect. I mean, I would say the closest thing to the earliest model of modern VR is the Kinect. Well, I guess augmented reality, if anything else, not VR. But I mean, yeah, it's bound to happen.
Well, I mean, AR is amazing in its own, but this isn't just bound to happen. This was one of the first projects made, and it was made before the Rift, and it was... And I fucking got this link to me. Don't fucking start jumping down my throat for knowing this. But there's a porn convention, and I watched the two most awkward fucking interviewers try and interview this guy about his new device, which was basically a giant mechanical pocket pussy that hooked up to fucking VR goggles and a goddamn CD that played you back a video and went to the motions. And some guy took that when the Rift came out and made something that does the same thing, but in gaming. And all the game had been for the longest time was a girl walking naked around you in a room, and you could turn your head and look at her and shit, and be like, "Man, bitch, what the fuck?" And then she'd dance and leave the room, and that was all they had as a test demo. And I laughed hysterically that was one of the first fucking things made.
It doesn't surprise me. You know what? Most of the internet is porn now.
Well, yeah, but here's the big question. If they're going to put on these fucking conventions now for Riftcon, are these guys getting invited?
Fuck yeah, dude.
That's a good question.
I mean, it's gonna be behind like a red curtain, so you have to enter there. You know.
Check IDs at the door.
Yeah, they're gonna have a fucking bouncer right there.
Welcome to the porn corner at Riftcon.
It's just
the red curtain is all of your dreams come true.
Just a dark corner.
Geek to the right, VR to the left.
What the fuck is that vibrating noise over in the corner? It sounds like a chainsaw.
Wait, that's what the guys are going for?
No, it's... down to the core, though, Riftcon is a great idea. I'm happy to see that VR is not only blossoming for once instead of blowing the fuck up and burning, but it's actually coming into its own. Not only has the Oculus Rift made shit tons of money and lots of patents and lots of really influential people moved into their company, but now we're seeing a convention, we're seeing competition out of Sony, we're seeing the work that fucking Steam can do with it when Valve released theirs and said that, well, we're just helping the Rift, this is where they should be in a couple of years. All in all, VR is finally looking like it's going to be a very, very viable in most homes thing in probably the next 5 to 10 years.
Well, I hope it becomes affordable. I would see it becoming affordable in 5 years.
It's affordable. It's really affordable now. Like, you can buy a dev kit at the Rift, or you could for like $300 when it was coming out. And that's
I pay $200, no problem.
Yeah, and like
I would pocket right now.
Yeah, I would pay $3. If somebody walked up to me right now when I have this Rift and at least something to do on it, give me $300. I'd be like, does it work? Yep. There you go. Have a good one. Bye.
Yep.
I'm going to be stuck in my house for the next fucking 3 weeks straight. My boss is going to think I'm dead. People are going to start fucking planning my funeral. I don't give a shit. Fucking VR, 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 VR. I don't even give a shit if it looks like shit. I want to play it.
The only thing with VR is you have to be able to stream it, and right now it's just one video feed. So you basically have to do 2 separate renderings to be able to stream, which is kind of a pain in the ass for streamers, but for the normal consumer.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get an eye. I've seen some people record both eyes, but it looks retarded.
Yeah.
So,
but the one eye is still skewed. Like you have to, yeah, it doesn't look very good when you stream it.
You'd really have to like overlay and merge, and it could work, but I don't know if OBS or XSplit is up to the task right now.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Like it will eventually, no doubt. But you'd almost have to do 2 separate renderings, just like
well,
from.
That's
from
what I've seen, right? Like when I see some videos on it, normally what a lot of people do is they've got their face cam. Sometimes they'll go with one eye, or I've seen some people that just go with, like their screen is 2 boxes. Here is right eye, here is left eye. Here's my fucking camera of me looking retarded with my helmet on, fucking giggling to myself in my room at 3 o'clock in the morning, and go.
Yeah.
But I'm still watching these shitty fucking videos because it's so innovative and fucking cool.
And eventually they'll add support for that. That'll be one of the last things to come, though, because it's such a small percentage of users.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a public thing yet. And as soon as it becomes a public thing and everybody's fucking got one of these things, I can see just it blowing out. There'll be multiple companies. There'll be all this different support. It'll be like the cell phone industry again, where you've got a bunch of guys that all can work together, but which model is actually fucking better? I'm not seeing a big console race where you're going to get like a Sony Xbox split, but it will come, and when it does, it's going to get so much quicker because of all this fucking support and fandom coming out, and all these companies working either together or against each other is going to put a big drive. And that's just for the gaming side. Who the fuck knows what the other home entertainment devices are going to be? Like, people are talking about movies. I've talked about fucking schooling applications, and visiting fucking space already is a very real thing.
Well, and one of the games that I play, I learned just had a huge addition for VR. You can actually almost use the head looking around just through normal movement. Like your WASD would work fine, but you hold Alt and you can look.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it looks good from what I've seen.
And it just gets better and better. Like, they start talking about, like, last year or the year before, they're like, here is the Rift. We've fucking kickstarted it. It looks like fucking goddamn skiing goggles taped onto the side of your fucking head. And in 2 years' time, now we've got, here is fucking the new Rift. And it looks weird, but still cool. They've started to add motion sensors on the outside. They're getting rid of the nausea that occurs with using this thing for extended periods of time. They're getting all these different applications and games. People are coming out with secondary devices, like the omnidirectional trackpad, which got shut the fuck down because it was only viable with the Rift. And they're getting that fucking vest that, like, pushes you and shit when you get shot, so you know where you're being hit from, and that thing was really fucking cool looking. And like, there's just all these things that can work together with the Rift, where it won't be too terribly long before we can put this fucking helmet on, go for a walk, and bam, we're in our game.
Well, so like one of the beta testers for the Rift said that he put on, like, he wasn't much of a runner or anything like that. He was very antisocial, but he put on his Rift and went for a run with the, what's the pad?
The omnidirectional trackpad?
The Omni, yeah. And he would go for a run on his Omni in Skyrim. He would just run from like town to town, and he said it was like a 6-mile run or something every morning.
Damn.
And he'd like run from creatures, and he had a lot of fun apparently.
Yeah, but I mean, like, the environments, like, you go for a fucking run here, and what, you're seeing houses and shops, and you gotta dodge cars, and whatever. You go for a run in Skyrim, it's like, there's a dragon, there's a giant, that fucking horse just got goddamn fucking obliterated, holy shit, oh god, they're coming at me with swords. Suddenly you've got something to do, it looks fucking beautiful, like, it just sounds amazing, and I can see people complain about obesity in first world countries today. This could seriously help, because I would have absolutely no problem in physical exercise until I could barely stand up. If I get to run through a fucking fantasy forest and obliterate things with a battle axe, I don't care how goddamn tired I get. If I can't move in the morning, I had a good fucking night.
Don't get me wrong, I love going for a run, but I would love to be able to go dynamically through a world. Like, even GTA, running through the street, randomly punch somebody, I don't know. But
fuck yes! Hey, you! Fuck your frappuccino!
So
fuck
what
you,
you're saying
bitch.
is you want to live vicariously through GTA.
Fuck
Is
yeah!
that what's going on here?
Fuck Yeah, without
Just
any
running around and beat
hesitation.
the
Fuck
shit out of
yes.
people.
No, you know what? We go play like the new Super Mario Brothers 4-player co-op. We're gonna go through a run to the end of the level. Fuck that Goomba. Like I don't even give a shit. I throw you into a pit. Suck my dick.
You'll be a fun game to do that in. Is Mario 6 or Super 64?
Mario 64. No man, Super Mario Sunshine modded for 4-player co-ops. You can shoot them with the water cannon.
That would look really weird. Like have someone that isn't playing and is just watching the people play. That would look really awkward. They're just.
Can you imagine?
Their arms are just like that, just shooting the fucking water. What the fuck?
Can you imagine walking into your living room like you live with a couple of friends? You're like, hey, what the fuck? Just 4 dudes standing in a circle that you miss. What the fuck?
It's not what it looks like, bro.
Dude, I'm moving
Seriously,
out. Fuck
Skyrim
you guys.
fun. Go out, run a mammoth.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you could have so much fun alone, and I just think about the multiplayer possible experiences that you can have here. There's not many people talk about co-op and multiplayer in the Rift. Fucking think about it! That'd be so cool, especially because my standpoint would be, I don't have to outrun the crazy motherfucker in this horror game. I just have to outrun you! And, like, I think that would be fucking great. I seriously would never do fucking anything else. I would have a hard time going back to regular gaming. I would be bored in regular gaming.
Yeah.
If anything has a chance to destroy the gaming industry and remake it in a godly image of fucking amazing murder, it would be VR. I'm not even just saying the Rift, just VR in general.
You know what? Yeah, give me a vest. Give me like motion controls like the Kinect. Mind you, 3D would be kind of hard, but work something out with that.
Well,
Even
no,
wristbands.
I've seen the gloves. They have gloves with motion in them, and you can like pick up shit and move them.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, they're clunky as fuck, but they're there.
I saw it was last year. I saw a developer. What the fuck are you doing?
That's what it was, man. I realized now it wasn't gloves. It was like 2 sticks.
There was
you could, like turn and press buttons to pick stuff up.
There was like a little guy who developed a piece of software. Well, it wasn't a piece of software. It was a modified Unreal game, Unreal 3, and he actually had the VR helmet on, and he didn't have this. He actually had gloves on, I think. Or no, they were sensors on his elbows, and basically it was simulating all the movement. And I could see this being viable. I think it's actually really cool. Like he was doing all the physical movements. And it was shown in game.
CES.
Was it?
There was the CES. We talked about it in like the first podcast, I think. He had a suit, and they were quoting it at being like $300 for the entire body. It wasn't a whole lot. Fuck you, webcam. It wasn't a whole lot, but it gave you upper body, it gave you legs, it gave you everything, and basically it was just like move a part of your body, and your character will move that. And he's doing this, and they showed one at CES where he did the training exercise in the original Modern Warfare, and he'd go in and you've got to shoot all the targets and run through, and it just showed him running, and he's like putting him his gun, shooting at targets and knifing targets and like jumping over the railing at the end, and he's just standing there running in the spot and like jumping around at CES, and it looked fucking great despite looking maybe a little bit retarded to people on the outside, but otherwise great. It just looked like a handicapped man, but it's good.
No, like, have you ever heard of the Myo? M-Y-O?
No.
That's not one that rings any bells, no.
It's a band. It goes on your forearm, like right around, I guess, 2/3 up your arm, and it knows which fingers are moving by the muscles in your arm, and it knows which angle. No, but it knows which angle you're sitting at. So you could control, like they did a demo where somebody put his hand behind his back, pulled out a secondary gun, and like when he pulled the trigger, it would actually shoot. It was really cool.
Tell me that doesn't sound fucking amazing. Come on.
No, that sounds awesome.
And if they can do it with your arms, there's no way in fuck that we don't have similar muscles just based on how we're made for our legs.
Well, like even if you hold your arm like yourself and you move your fingers, you can feel the muscles in different areas.
Yeah.
It would work, but they're like $150 a piece. They're commercially available right now, and my boss actually has one, and he let me sample it. Use it for skiing because it's waterproof, and he can switch up his music, and apparently it works well.
Yeah, see, that just sounds fucking amazing. And when you look at the price point on some of these things, like when I was younger, I don't know about you guys, but when I thought about fuck you, camera, I don't fucking come in there and I'll fucking break you. But when you think about when I was a kid, I thought if virtual reality ever came out, what would it cost? And like the first ones that come out are gonna be like millions of dollars. They're gonna be like maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's gonna be like fucking nobody's. You're gonna be so lucky to get to try one of these things, and fuck you. Hey, you hear about it? The Rift is fucking like $300. These fucking bands, fucking cheap as fuck. That suit we were just talking about, it's really not that fucking expensive. It's so fucking affordable. It hurts, and I want it so badly. Why don't I have one?
If you could give me a full kit for, including the platform and everything, for say $1,000, $1,500, I would probably do it. I put enough money into gaming.
Sell my house. I don't even give a fuck.
No. But realistically, $1,500, I would probably do it.
Oh yeah, I have absolutely no problem paying that kind of money for something like this. It's just fucking amazing.
Now that said, I want it to work properly for that amount of money. But
yeah.
If you give me a proper working kit, no problem.
Aaron?
Yes? What?
You went to go say something, that's why I didn't say anything.
And I completely blanked out.
Okay, we broke Aaron.
Completely blanked out. Yeah.
I'm thinking...
I was going to say.
I could nerd up about how much I love the Rift for literally the remainder of this cast. But we're already sneaking up on the halfway point. That's the joys of going down to an hour. So I want to talk about a little bit of Twitch stuff and the new horror game called Daylight. So we've all talked about this a little bit off of cast, but this motherfucker looked boring as shit. I'm not even gonna lie. I saw a little bit of coverage at E3, and it looked like a generic horror game, randomly generated. I watched a little bit of gameplay, and it was just whatever, you know, who gives a shit. And looking at it now, they've added a couple of interesting things. As far as VR is concerned, they've got good support for the PC, apparently, and they're talking about this really wicked thing for streamers, where their example, they're not even saying it'll make it in, but the example is that when you're playing this game and somebody in your chat says meow, where my viewers say meow all the motherfucking time, you will hear a cat noise in the distance in the game. You will hear a cat meowing somewhere as an effect to try and scare you. And this is just one of the sounds that they have. Of course, it's the only one that they've mentioned to us right now, but I'd imagine there could be other ones like the wind, doors, ghosts, shit like that. Just noises you'll hear, maybe a smash behind you. They're apparently on a cooldown, so they can't be spammed. They'll still kind of hold their effect. And it just sounds really fucking cool. I mean, we got the whole Twitch plays fucking Pokemon thing going on right now, which was a cool experiment, except that Twitch's servers can't handle it, so I kind of fucking hate it because it's ruining my Twitch experience. But this is another step towards viewer immersion in streams, and I think that is a great fucking thing. There's so much room for that to grow.
Well, especially with the trolls.
It gives you a bit of a reason to be attached to a stream, too.
Yeah,
you invest a little bit of yourself in it.
Yeah, and you can fuck with these streamers, and the thing is, I don't fucking give a flying fuck about horror games. They don't bother me, they don't scare me. I run through them because I treat them as video games. Apparently my problem is I don't get immersed. I don't see the point in having to force myself into immersion in a game if it can't do that for me. But that's just me. Lots of people love the shit out of horror games. This kind of thing, I think, is the only way I could get into horror games, because my chat can potentially scare the fuck out of me. And even if they only get a couple of fucking scares, they're going to be so happy. Because I've seen these motherfuckers screw with me with the follow button. And they have so much fun fucking with me with a fucking taser noise. Can you imagine what would happen if they could fucking blow shit up in my goddamn ear at 3 o'clock in the morning when I'm creeping through a dark fucking corpse-infested fucking building?
Smash windows beside you, open a door. That would be kind of cool.
Fuck yeah! I mean,
I would probably implement a count, like the count, just
You have a
I would do that.
terrible addiction to Transylvania.
I will do that.
But I mean, it's fucking great, I think, this idea to allow your viewers to get closer to the streamers. There's some streamers that don't like that kind of shit. Fuck those guys. They shouldn't be streaming.
Disable it. Fuck, who cares?
Yeah, fuck you. You're a bunch of pussies. But I honestly think it could be great. I love that this is becoming a thing. And, I mean, this is first steps. I imagine that this will become probably a thing majority for indie games, I'd say. But I'd still say it's becoming a thing if they can do this. And I'd imagine it'll be popular as shit.
You know, I'd like to see as an online UI where you could spawn people almost.
Ooh. That would have to be at a big cooldown, though.
Well, it depends on... Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah,
or
it'd
vote on spawns? Still random? I don't know. But I'd like to see something like that way in the future, like in like 2 years or so.
Yeah, there's lots and lots of fun you could have with this shit. Like, I mean, it's obviously to certain games, right? Like, if you're playing a horror game, your chat being able to fuck with you, great. If you're playing Halo, not so much. I don't really see how that would help you at all. But, no. I mean, at the same time, I guess they could do fun shit. Like, if you could activate some of these things, maybe it just plays a fucking chime or something occasionally when they play with stuff, just to give them some control. Or maybe they can... Oh, well, with the delay as it is, no. But if they change that again, maybe they could move something. Or maybe you use your chat to help you get through a puzzle. If
they fix the delay, you could choose maybe how NPCs interact with you.
Yeah, like, that would be fucking cool. I mean, like the PS4... Well, when the PS4, when I first started streaming on it, the delay was literally 2 seconds. You could have real-time conversations with people. If they went back to a system like that, maybe even if it's just for sub-accounts, it could be really, really cool. Your chat could help you progress through a game, or fuck with you while progressing through a game, or just murder the shit out of you in the middle of a village. I don't even fucking know.
But one question. Do we know if the Twitch delay is intentional, or was that just... Okay. So
the current one is
the thing that they switched and it messed up?
No, they're doing this on purpose. Apparently what it was is they did this because they got increased traffic and they were trying to fix a buffering issue. Now, after talking to my chat and my own experiences, I don't know anybody that ever had buffering issues outside of shitty internet prior to this switch. And now everybody does.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the fuck to tell you.
They probably exported the servers, honestly.
It was a bad idea, and they need to severely upgrade again, because with Twitch Plays Pokemon and a League tournament on right now, there was a couple times yesterday during community night, Nathan was talking to Flames in chat. I never, ever, ever saw a single post from Flames in chat. And he was responding to him, and I'm like, it's eating every single one of his messages, because there's too many people on right now.
Well, when I hop on a mobile, it eats about 70% of messages, I find. And it's totally random. It's not like one person is wiped out or anything like that. But yeah, I only see about 20 to 30% when I'm on mobile, and I have opened both of them before and watched. So I don't know what that issue is. I mean, it's good that they prioritize mobile or lower than PC to me. But at the same time,
interesting. It's interesting what they're doing with mobile though, because for a long time nobody could really get it, and now it's like you click over to a changer, but you kind of always have mobile, but some people can't get in. It's a little fucked up, but I find that a lot of my fucking viewers are on mobile. It's like a surprising amount to me, given that I just assumed that most people were fucking at their computers. But then when I think about it, I slack off a lot. I spend my whole fucking workday just sitting on fucking Twitch. Like, I watched probably 10 games of fucking Dota at work today. It was a shitty, slow day, but yeah.
I probably spend the same amount of time on my phone, but I do mobile games and Twitter.
Oh yeah, like I do research and shit, but I mean, as far as watching Twitch itself goes, like, I don't know. I never realized how much I spend on there, I guess. So I guess I kind of want to. I don't know what I want to do with this, but we should talk about Bioshock. I still don't know how I feel about this, but the news has hit that Bioshock creator Irrational Games is shutting down. They're not, of course, shutting down because they did badly. Obviously, Bioshock is a massive game, and it's super, super motherfucking popular. But the co-founder, Ken Levine, I fucking don't even know, has decided that all but about 15 people will lose their jobs over at Irrational Games. They want to go down back to the Take-Two style of things and just go into small fucking entrepreneurial games that they can build with a really tiny team instead of these big blockbusters.
The problem with having huge games is you have way too many hands in it. It's not your creation anymore, which I kind of understand that from his perspective.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's not like it's hurting Bioshock right now as a game. Bioshock is, of course, just the big thing they're known for. They've handed all the assets over to 2K. 2K's done pretty well in the past, so I mean, they'll find another team to work on future Bioshock games. It's not going to hurt any of the DLCs for Bioshock Infinite because Burial at Sea 1 is out and 2 is done. It's gold. They're just waiting to release it. So they waited for that before at least jumping ship. It's just really interesting. I mean, I guess I see it from an artistic point of view that they really want to move back into what they got into gaming for, why they really enjoyed this. It's just weird to me to throw away a cash cow like Bioshock and go, fuck it, we don't want this anymore. Fucking studios are closing all the time, but fuck our jobs. Here, take them. It seems weird.
Most DLCs, just on the note of you saying that they are gold, most of them are fully completed by the time the game is actually released. There are levels that were scrapped at some point and decided they weren't to be part of the story or whatever, right?
Yeah, you talked about this with Dead Rising. You said that you finished yours long before the game was out, but it's not even released yet. I haven't heard a thing about this particular DLC.
No. Mine... There's another one on March 4th, and I think there's one in May, or April or May. Mine's one of those. I don't know which one. But the levels were all done. There was only, like, they had to do one part to bridge two maps, and that was it. But I did a lot of character design and things like that.
Yep.
So I didn't actually, like, they were just looking to fill it with bosses and alternate sort of things, but I didn't really do any prop design or level design. So there wasn't a whole lot to do on that. I was one of 3 concept artists for it, which is pretty small for a studio that size.
Yeah, I mean, it's the thing about this breakdown for Irrational Games is kind of interesting because, I mean, if you're going to cut the fat and knock your company down to 15 people, who are you keeping? Probably the best members of your team.
Yeah.
You want the best of the best out of a group that made a AAA title like Bioshock what it is today. So it may be a small team, but they've now got a really good fucking team working on these smaller games.
Well, that's pretty much what Black Tusk did. I mean, they dissolved 4 studios and shoved the best in there. So, and they hired people with like 10 years plus experience out of multiple studios.
Yeah, but I mean, that's going to be fucking amazing. The new Gears of War will be certainly very fucking interesting to see. I hope they don't fuck it
I don't think
corporate.
They will.
Well, I mean,
fuck something up that big.
It would be via corporate if they fucked it, right? Like,
Yeah.
It wouldn't be them. It would be corporate.
Well, the shitty thing is it reflects badly on the studio. It's not at all, like, people
Yeah,
don't
it's
realize
not
the
even
structure,
their
right?
fault remotely.
Yeah.
But I'm fucking really interested to see what they do with this crew because they want to go into these smaller games, but they're still really fucking good. Like, I would like to see small Bioshock-esque games, but I have a feeling that they're going to try and steer away from that typecast.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if they still kind of go for it.
It's interesting because I want to say that I would go for it too. Like, if I'm going to break them into a smaller studio, I would go for something like Bioshock. But why break Irrational Games if you're going to go into that same format? Why not just stay
Because he can bring
Games?
it closer to his vision. Again, it's the suits and all this that create the vision. Not really necessarily, but I mean, it's like your production managers, your art directors that lead everything, and he would have very little say. Whereas here, one of 15 people, even if he split everything evenly, and he probably won't, it'll probably be more him. It'll be like 1/15 his idea, rather than, say, like 150th. It's a huge percentage. He probably has 10% his idea now.
I just want to see something.
Okay.
Bioshock Infinite's ending was written by who? Fuck, I can't figure it out. I hope it wasn't this guy though, because when the original game all the original games played out, they ended with multiple endings. Now, the thing with Bioshock Infinite is it ended. I mean, I haven't played the DLCs, but I mean the game itself ended because one person decided they wanted this one ending, and most people didn't fucking like the ending. I mean, a lot of people didn't understand the ending, but I still agree with them. It was really fucking asinine thing to take everything you've worked towards and basically say, fucking this, the whole game was pointless, fuck you. Without ruining the ending, of course. But it's interesting, because I hope that this isn't the same guy, because his vision nobody really liked. I'm hoping that this is a different group, or it doesn't have that kind of writing, or that writer specifically, because I liked the multiple ending, I liked the storyline. I hope this isn't his vision and what he does with it, if you catch what I'm meaning.
Yeah.
In all honesty, I like the ending to Infinite.
Infamous is one of the what was it?
Well, it's just, I mean, I
took the time to think it out, kind of what was going on. Like, I liked the multiple endings in Bioshock 1 and 2, but the fact of the matter is they were still kind of on a linear path, whereas Infinite, as kind of the whole premise of the entire fucking thing that you don't figure out until the very end, is it's non-linear, and you have to be able to kind of decipher what the fuck they're trying to say, what kind of message they're trying to convey, and I liked it. Just I liked how it went, but that's my opinion.
I liked the game. I just didn't like that the ending was, fuck it, it's old now. Let's go back and undo everything you've done in every single one of these games.
Oh, I didn't know that was the ending. That's terrible.
Yeah,
it was all a dream.
Well, no, it was.
Well, it wasn't all a dream.
There was the paradox. You're in a bunch of multiple different realities, and so at the very end, you go back to the fucking original split and kill yourself. That's how the game ends.
Yeah, but you don't understand. But you don't figure out why you have to kill yourself until the very end. So it's not really all for nothing. Like,
it still doesn't make any sense.
Why does it not make sense?
That's still a poor ending, honestly.
You would have had to have gone through the journey to be able to go back and cut the journey. So why bother going back if everything's already done?
Well, I mean, you're just cutting off that one branch, and like you have these. What the fuck are you doing?
What are you doing?
Fucking asshole.
Continue.
But no, you have this, this progression of kind of what happens with the multiverse, kind of what happens with Booker Duet. Everything that happens up until the very end, that's just that one path. Nothing says that is the only thing that ever happens with Booker, what he does, Maybe that's just one portion of something that infinitely branches out into multiple universes, right? Maybe, in some other universe, it goes a completely different direction where he's not in that situation at all. So really it's just focusing on that one little aspect, and you're just cutting off that point. And then, at the very end, the epilogue kind of shows him in one of the universes in which that never happened, where he was at his baptism.
See, now you're just speculating, though.
No, that's the beginning. The baptism was the beginning. That was the split point.
Okay.
But I'm saying what I'm getting at is it's only focusing on, because no matter what, he always goes to the baptism. What says that there's no point in space time that says he doesn't go to the baptism? You know what I'm saying?
True, but everything in all three of the games take place after the baptism. So the essential story was everything that you've done, every part of this that you enjoyed, was without consequence or purpose, as we've now deleted it from the universe. And that was the only reason I didn't like it, because, well, that and I didn't have multiple choices. The choice was basically you get to die. But the main reason I didn't like it was because it felt like they basically looked at the player and went, I don't give a fuck about you.
Yeah, I liked the concept of kind of delving into the other storylines and just seeing what they can do to kind of twist it. So I liked it. I enjoyed it.
It was definitely really interesting.
Any ending where you write out the duration of whatever you've done is just you're getting out of writing an ending. It's not an ending in itself.
Well, it was the same thing that happened to Mass Effect, right? It was under normal circumstances. They consulted a writing staff. They made all the different endings. In this case, it was the lead writer said, hey, fuck you. This is my story. This is my vision. This is how I want it to end. This is how it's ending. Fuck you. And while it was super interesting to see the paradoxes actually come into play, because you don't see that in gaming anymore, where everything is spin-offs and parallel universes, and you can actually see all the different fucking lighthouses at the end and shit. It's really interesting and cool to see all this. I just didn't like that you had to die. Yeah.
Well, I think we need more kind of non-linear storyline progressions like this, rather, where it kind of makes you think outside the box. It's not just the storyline progresses as A to B to C to D. Where it goes from A to B to C, and then you have to go back to B and think, well, if B went like this, would it be C or would it be like E? I like non-linear progression and like twists, and kind of it forces you to think kind of what happened, how you interpret it before, and how you interpret it now. So
yeah, and what you're saying makes perfect sense. Non-linear progression is the keystone, I think, to good gaming, to good story.
We need more of that.
The problem is they took all the non-linear and then put it into that linear path at the end. I mean, it's not that
ironically enough, the non-linear storyline is more linear than Bioshock 1 and 2. That's the irony of it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's why that ending would have been great to me if there had been one or two additional endings that you could have had instead. I guess it wouldn't have made as much sense. I understand why he did it, because if that is the only ending, that is what happened. And it makes sense given what you do in that ending. But had there been multiple, it would have been really interesting to see, because it would have given you that non-linearness to all of the chaos.
Yeah, so.
But we should probably move forward. We've only got like fucking 13 minutes left.
Shit.
Speaking of devs, let's talk about Titanfall and not being a paid game for all of the extra shit.
Yeah.
Brandon, you know a fuck ton more about this than I do.
Okay, so Titanfall at first had said that they wouldn't make it pay to win, like pay to get better weapons, anything like that. And now they were talking more towards, when they were talking to investors, they were trying to convince them that they could get more money out of players because of how badly the Xbox 360 had done in terms of console sales.
You mean Xbox One?
This is again because they signed on specifically with Xbox 360. It doesn't go on PS1.
One.
Or
Yeah.
sorry.
One. Yeah, it's like you mean one, right?
The Xbox 360 sucks. Anyway.
No, at least you guys are on the right page. Versus the PlayStation 4, not 3. Anyways, so they had originally said that they wouldn't do pay to win. Now they're saying that they haven't discussed what they're doing, but it will be comparable to the Battlefield 4 Premium. And now, do either of you two know whether you get more guns or anything in Battlefield 4 Premium?
Basically, what it is the Premium is just it's a season pass. It's the same exact thing. 5 DLCs over the course of the year span before, or I guess a year and a half before they release the next big Battlefield game. You get 4 maps, 4 or 5 maps, but on top of that you get a couple new weapons, vehicles, blah blah blah. Right? It's not just maps, but yeah, you get new bits and pieces of content every time. So.
See, and Titanfall had said that they would do map packs and things like that, obviously, but they said that they wouldn't do anything that game-changing, so meaning guns, weapons, whatever.
Well,
guns,
that's the thing is that, I mean, that's it's just a season pass. That's all it is for maps, and it's really and I go back to what I said a couple podcasts ago, if it wasn't the last one. I don't think it's worth, because if it's just gonna be maps, it's not worth the money. It's probably gonna be $50. That's probably what it's gonna be. That's how Battlefield 3 Premium was and Battlefield 4 Premium. It was $50 for 5 DLCs, which is $10,
usual DLCs are about $15. So
Well,
I mean,
if you buy the DLCs individually, they charge you $15. But they knock off $5 for every if you go for the premium. So,
which I mean, I guess saves you money in the long run, but it's a commitment system. So if you buy, premium or the season pass, you're saying that you're stuck, locked into playing this fucking game for the next year. And if you don't, they basically just get free money off you.
And remember when you mentioned that it's not game breaking, Brendan? Like they don't implement anything that's quote unquote game breaking. I don't know because it is being published by EA. They may force what's the company's name again? Respawn. Yeah. They did this with DICE, and basically on top of the console you get benefits. Basically you get what was it? One of them is priority access in queue if the server's full, right? Over non-premium owners, right? Now, I think that's game breaking because you're forcing people that didn't spend the extra $50 to kind of fuck off and find another server, that them and their friends have to find,
And they originally said that they wouldn't do any of that. They wouldn't make it so that you were forced to buy it at all. It would be like map pack skins, things like that. Like they were very set on that when they were advertising to players. But their chief of operations had said that it'll be like this premium package sort of thing when they were talking to investors. So even though they promised the players that they wouldn't do that, we don't really know what's happening. So it could all be a lie potentially.
Knowing EA, they're probably going to flip the switch like 2 months prior to like when they would release the content.
Well, and the shitty thing, EA being their publisher can pretty much force them to do whatever. Fine, we won't release your packs.
Here's the really, really fucked up thing about this, is the game itself is a full-price $60 game with 0 single-player content. It is entirely a multiplayer game. That's a ridiculous price for half of a fucking game that they're then probably going to charge you $50 for a premium pack on. So they're going to get $110 out of you for half of a fucking game.
I would probably pay maybe $40 at the very most, if not 30.
Well, I'd have no problem paying $60 if you got all the map packs, everything as they were released, even if they aren't done when the game's out, as long as they give it to you eventually. That said, I probably won't buy the game if they're doing DLC. Because I really do not want to put out $100 for a game I probably won't play very much, and that I can't play on Steam.
Yeah.
The fact that I can't start up on Steam ends it for me.
On top of the fact that I mentioned this last podcast that I feel that it's a carbon copy of Call of Duty because it's made by the people that originally did Call of Duty. So I'm not into that gameplay. If you're into it, fucking get it. You'll love it. I won't love it. I prefer something different.
It's the blending of what has been most popular. So they've added aspects of Halo, they've added aspects of Call of Duty, they've added aspects of Battlefield in an attempt to try and garner as many fans as physically possible. I'll play it because I'm a streamer, but from what I've seen, it doesn't look that crazy. It really doesn't.
No. I mean, the Titans are kind of cool, but...
I would love the game. It's just the fact that, as you say, there's no single-player content. You still have to buy the map packs, and honestly, if you're not going to buy the map packs, what's the point in buying the game, quite honestly? Because you get pushed out of every server.
Especially if this is going to become an annual or biannual thing. They're going to release a new game every year, every other year. If EA is going to follow the same path as Activision, once the new iteration comes out, they're just going to force everyone to migrate over to the new game by shutting off their service.
Well, I mean, here's the thing.
Which they have done with the Bad Company games.
Yeah. So. But I mean, here's the thing. Thief is coming out on Tuesday. Thief's retail price is $49.99. It's on sale right now as a pre-order for 10% off, so you can get it for $45. Thief doesn't have multiplayer, but it's still going to be like AAA quality single player, but they've acknowledged a $49 price tag instead of a $59 price tag. Why the fuck wouldn't you do that with something like Titanfall? I mean, I get it, it's a money grab, but it's a dumb fucking money grab. Why release half a fucking game and charge me half fucking my entire arm for it?
See, I'm still on the page of if you want to do multiplayer, do the multiplayer. Like Call of Duty Ghosts, they focus so much. Like all their advertising that I've seen for developers, because I've gone to a bunch of conferences with Infinity Ward, and I've talked to the people. They are pushing the single player so hard. That's not what sells that game. That game sells for the multiplayer. Mm-hmm. So
this is what I want to see, and I've thought about this last year. For games like Call of Duty, I love Call of Duty for the single player. I enjoy the single player campaigns. I don't enjoy multiplayer for the reasons that I've stated before. I think that they should have the $60 price tag for like both the single player and multiplayer, but I think they should just sell the single player and co-op, if it comes with it, as an individual component. They should sell the two components individually. Multiplayer, if you just want the multiplayer, because I bet you most Call of Duty players never even touch the single player. They just buy it and then play the multiplayer.
Well, that's the only reason that I bought Call of Duty, was because I wanted to play single player. But here's the thing. While that is a good idea, it will never, ever happen because of the same reason we're just bitching. There is so much more money in selling it together at a higher price tag than selling it individually at a lower price tag.
Well, marketing, ultimately, you're going to have two crowds. You're going to have the crowd that buys it for single and the crowd that buys it for multi. Okay, I'll call it three. And then the crowd that plays both occasionally. The both occasional aren't going to pay a huge price tag if the other two are getting a discount.
And I'm few and far between.
Yeah.
Games like that, like Battlefield, I wanted to play the single player. That's the only reason. That's the only thing I wanted to do with it. I wanted to play the single player. Good time to freeze.
That face. I should have taken a picture, goddammit.
It's going to be on YouTube. Fuck you. But, that's the only reason. Or, I'm sorry, the only reason I want to play Battlefield is because, I knew the guys were going to play multiplayer. Maybe I could go do that. But I wanted to see what they did with single player out of curiosity. Because I have not seen a single fucking commercial about their single player. I don't know what any of the characters even look like.
In all honesty, the single player actually sucks. It does.
And that's what I was scared of.
Yeah. The campaign for Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 was an improvement, somewhat, but they're not good. I've always seen Battlefield as a multiplayer game, and it kind of contradicts our argument that you're buying a multiplayer game at a premium price. I think at least with Battlefield 3, I haven't played Battlefield 4 that much, but Battlefield 3, I would more than love to pay full price for Battlefield 4 because it is a multiplayer game that has, I think it has a lot of content. It has enough content for multiplayer to justify its price. Battlefield 2 was the same way. The only single-player component they had was just multiplayer with bots. But there was so much content that was in Battlefield 2. I loved it.
Except for the new one, I have played at least a little bit of every single Battlefield in multiplayer. And while they are some of the most phenomenally made multiplayer games, especially for FPS, I would not pay $60 just for their multiplayer component. I don't think there's any game that would ever give me enough to just do that outside of the MMO market. And that's because these games are painstakingly made over years just to keep you entertained.
Yeah, the Battlefield series is the only series I'd ever do that for. Otherwise, I'd rather want to pay at a fractional price. If I'm not getting the full suite. But yeah.
Anyway, we're coming right up to the end. We're at our fucking 59-minute mark. So I think that's all we're gonna get in as far as outside news is concerned, but before we fucking end, I do want to talk about this next coming week because it's going to be fucking insane. Monday, there will be no stream. Technically. Tuesday morning, at about 1 o'clock in the morning when I normally end, I will start my stream. We're going to run the 24-hour stream for Thief right through Tuesday. Wednesday, there will still be a stream. Once the 24-hour is over, we're going to go into Castlevania likely, as it also comes out on Tuesday, and I'd like to play it. It really depends on how wrapped up I get with Thief. But there's been talk that potentially The release date for the patch on Payday might be next Thursday. If this is true, we have 3 huge fucking things to do next week.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know how the fuck it will get done. I will probably be streaming late every single fucking night. I will likely stream Saturday and Sunday with the amount of content coming out, assuming that this is correct. So, Thief's going to be fucking awesome. Castlevania looks fun as shit. I am so stoked for 30 new achievements worth of content in fucking Payday. Holy tits. And then the following fucking week is Stick of Truth. So, we're going to be wrapped up in a lot of fucking streaming shit right on through this next month. Keep your motherfucking fingers crossed to see if we can get a sub button put in at some point in time. But if you know anybody who's interested in seeing any of these fucking games, fucking tell people, please. We gotta make a push. Man, I really fucking so angelic with that phrase. We really gotta put this push forward. We gotta try our fucking asses off. It's gonna be great, I think. But
those pearly whites.
Oh boy. So it's gonna be fucking amazing, guys. I'm so stoked. But I'm gonna call the end of this cast. I actually kind of like this hour format we're doing. We didn't fucking have any downtime. It was fucking great. I enjoyed the shit out of it. But I'm gonna call this quits right here, and we're gonna swing.
All hail the Felix Fossil. All praise the Helix Fossil.
What was that about getting rid of Aaron? Right? Oh, well, there's no get rid of Aaron button. Anyway, fuck Twitch with Pokemon. Let's go play some motherfucking Gmod. Yeah? Yeah.